We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, and this is the Land Academy Show.
This is episode number 2067. Today we are talking about which of the 5 types of land you should be flipping and where in the country to do it, or how it works for us, let's say.
I love when you do this. You know, we haven't done it in a while, but you've done this in Career Path and other closed environments, where you'll kind of, look at the map of the United States and go, mailed it, hate it, love it, don't love it. This is good. This one doesn't good. This is attorney state. Watch out for that. Blah, blah, blah. I love that. So we're not going to go into that much depth, I believe, here, but you're going to give us some other big picture stuff, and that's so helpful. And you know what? And that's one of the things about you, Stephen. You have the experience. You can do this. We pretty much bought and sold, you in particular, bought and sold land in probably every state. And not everyone can say that. So,
yeah.
And you have experience with it. Even if we didn't do it ourselves, like there's deal funny things that come up. That's for me where I hit it. Like there's deals that we didn't mail, but I've done deals in that state because it's come to me for funding. And then I learned about that state. Good, bad, or otherwise.
Yes.
So, cool.
And what's cool about this is that we'll talk about, just from a definition standpoint, what the 5 types of land are. And chances are, you're going to say, oh, I buy one of those all the time. That's what I thought the land business was. I didn't realize this stuff was over here. And that's the point to all week. This entire week this week is about what to add to your existing business that, can give you another line of revenue. Monday, we talked about tax liens and tax deeds. Tuesday, we talked about subdividing, splitting property. Wednesday, mobile homes and houses yesterday. And today, we're going to talk about different types of land. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about how Jill and I have kept food on the table doing this for 30 plus years. Each day on the show, we answer a question from our Land Academy member Discord forum, take a deep dive into land-related topics.
Okay, so today's question is from Matt. Matt wrote, "Hello, Land Academy friends. The places I've sent mail for several years has not generated the results we are used to seeing in my last mailer. What are your thoughts here?"
I think that I would love for you to jump in here too, Jill, because you're more on the front lines than I am. But we are in an economic downturn. We're in an election year. By the time this airs, the election will be over. As of our record, the election's happening today, actually, which is why Jill's got the flag on her chest.
Yep.
And so there's some weird stuff happening at the end of 2024 because it's an election year. Interest rates are really strange. I've never in my entire life watched the Fed reduce rates, reduce the prime rate, and then watch mortgage rates go up. There's a tremendous amount of real estate on the market, but what's on the market is not being devalued. Usually when there's more supply, there's less demand and vice versa. So that doesn't seem to be happening. I'm not an economist, but we talk about this stuff on the Thursday call a lot. So I'm not sure exactly why you're not having the regular positive response to your mailers that you've always sent out. But I can tell you this, we are in the same situation, and most people are.
That was a good topic that we had the other day with Career Path. Like someone said, oh, thank you, it's not just me. We're like, no. And that's why we're doing all these shows this week too, is to think about other things that you could be doing to increase your revenue or whatever, and add to your existing business.
For years and years I've been doing this, obviously, and I'll tell you the fourth quarter is usually slow.
Yeah, it's true.
The first quarter is usually amazing. So I don't do it too much anymore, mostly because of Jill's positive attitude. But I was famous for walking around the office on Christmas saying, well, I guess it's over.
Yeah.
There's just no more, no one's responding to our phone calls. Nobody wants to sell their land. And then on January 15th, we're buying 25 properties.
Yeah. It's true.
And I really believe that's going to happen. It's just more acute this year because of the economy and the election.
I agree.
Today's topic, which of the 5 types of land should you be flipping and where in the country to do it? Here's the types of land, the big category types of land. And I'll give you my comments and hopefully Joe will too. Agricultural property, the vast majority of property out there, when people say land, they think of farmland. That's not necessarily what we all think of, because I don't believe farmland and agricultural land is the best type of land to flip. Number 2, residential properties. So infill lots or properties that are farmland in an urban area that will no longer be farmed and converted to some type of subdivision. That's residential property, very popular. Commercial property, commercial and industrial property are properties that a municipality have designated where commercial stuff's going to go on. Maybe retail, maybe a mall, maybe manufacturing, or office buildings. Jill and I almost never buy commercial property, and we have done it on accident. And we've done it with intent for at great profit.
I like it.
It's
I like
really
it.
specific, and you need to know what you're doing.
Yeah, the deals we have done, though, have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I have to say that. It's more work, but they're phenomenal.
The 4th type of property is rural vacant land. Huge favorite in our group, and us included. It's overlooked property where most people don't see any value. So what happens with rural vacant land is I might see $5,000 worth of value. You might see $50,000. I might just see numbers on a spreadsheet, and you might say, this is lakefront property that I've always dreamed of. So when you have a variance like that, and you don't have that, and the first 3 that I mentioned, agriculture is worth what it's worth. It's a commodity. It's priced like a commodity. I've said this several times on the air. Every morning, a bunch of farmers get together all over this country in their local coffee shop and say, well, land is worth $4,000 an acre today. And tomorrow I bet it'll be worth $3,900. So it's priced like that. So people like us aren't going to come in and buy for two grand an acre. And we shouldn't. I say leave the farmers alone. Leave that whole industry alone. They know what they're doing. Infill lots infill lots in residential property is valued by the stuff that's going on immediately around it and adjacent to it. So it's very difficult to buy properties that are dramatically undervalued when they're priced like that. It's possible. We do it all the time, but it's more difficult. Commercial and industrial is specific use related. So I can have a real large piece of commercial property, like let's say, I don't know, it doesn't matter, in Southern California, and it will get valued not for its historical cost, but it'll get valued by a company like Honda. And they'll say, I just don't care about how much this land costs because I'm going to be building cars here. Mm-hmm. Or I'm going to put a regional office here because it's easier to hire people, which is what happens in Southern California. Southern California was built on companies going there and building plants in the aerospace industry specifically because the caliber of people that they believed they could hire was higher and typically not unionized.
Do you see that in Arizona? Because I do now.
Yes. It's moving to more rural markets.
Even in Texas.
It's more economical for large companies to bring in their workforce than to rely on a local workforce now.
True.
It's very hard and it's very specific, and it's kind of a crapshoot to make money in commercial, but you can do it. Rural vacant land is where we hang out. That's where there's massive variances in value. Some people are so tired of getting a tax bill. They've gotten a tax bill for 30 years, 40 years. They've paid hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years in taxes, and we're buying their property for $8,000. So that you don't see that in those other types of properties.
It's funny when you say, the types of land. If I tell me about land, I see 2 types. You ready for this?
Yeah, this is good.
One is federally protected land. Don't touch it. You can't. Good luck. And then 2 is everything else that we do. I can't touch it, and I can touch it all.
Oh, you can't play on it.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Or not even that. I can't buy it and sell it. Federally protected land, which is near and dear to my heart.
I see what you're saying.
Cannot be sold. Period. It's done. It's a park.
So you can buy and sell it, and then there's all kinds of other
There's stuff I can buy and sell.
Government property.
And land I can't buy and sell. Those are the 2 types for me.
So there's Native American reservation, federal land, state land, Bureau of Land Management, all that. You can't.
National parks.
That's what you mean. I can't touch it.
I can't touch it. Exactly.
And then there's property that's available for the public to buy.
Yep. That's it. Those are 2 types for me. That's it.
I like that. That would be a much easier topic to
It
discuss.
would have been a good topic. So,
Well, Jill just nailed the fifth category, which is other types of property. And it has to do with specific use. The top one that comes to mind on other types of property is designated wetlands, usually in Florida or on the coasts, that you can buy and sell, but you can't really use it. You can use it for recreation. And so there's a whole slew of other types of property. They always come up because they sneak their way into people's mailers. And after you send the mail out, you find out, yeah, it's all wet and I can't do it. But people love to buy it for weird reasons, like duck hunting or snow skiing, or, there's a huge, massive, I don't need to tell you this, a massive trend to put conservation easements on properties. And municipalities are even giving you tax incentives to do that. So a would-be property that could potentially be in a development has now got a conservation easement on it, and the owner doesn't have to pay any taxes or very low taxes, and its future use is very inhibited, if not restricted entirely. It's a scary freaking thing when you think about it.
I'm not a huge fan of that. I mean, there's a time and a place for it, but just to blindly do it because you just want to save money or get out of something you got into, I'm not a fan of.
Me too. I don't think people know what they're getting into with that.
True. Yeah. It is scary how easy it is. It's like a deed restriction. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff.
It's literally a deed restriction.
Yeah. And be like, what did you just do? Now I made sure no one will ever build there. Okay, that's in Manhattan, New York. Is that its highest and best use? But there it is.
So let's go back through the list and talk about whether or not you should be making and how you should make money. Agricultural property, we do not seek out mailing properties in agricultural areas like in the center of the state, Iowa, Nebraska, all of that. But once a year, for whatever reason, a property sneaks its way into our mailer, and a very motivated seller calls us, and we buy a piece of property that's being actively farmed. Most of the time, the person who owns it, there's somebody farming it, and they don't even know that. They don't know it's being farmed. They're not getting paid from a lease standpoint and all of that. And so Jill and I buy it and immediately resell it. And the person who's farming it continues to farm it, but pays the industry lease. So there's no harm there. I don't think that's a place where we can make, you should add that to your business. I don't think it's profitable. Infill lots, if you've never done them, can be great. They're easy to value. They're easy to identify in a mailer. So yeah, if you're not buying and selling infill lots, you should consider it, especially in urban areas and for cash. Jill and I had a very long, detailed conversation yesterday about the impact of interest rates on property. And we have always bought property for cash. So when interest rates are real low, it artificially, which has been for years, artificially inflates the property, the value of property. When they're high like this and there's a lot of property on the market, we come in and we smash them on the price. And that works really, really well. Infill lots are perfect for that. Commercial and industrial, as we mentioned before, it's really specific. If that's your thing, nail it. If you're a commercial real estate broker and you're listening to this, you know the markets you're in, send a mailer out. Send a mailer out into all the commercial markets that you know, and you're going to pick up some property as an owner, and you probably know who to partnership with. You know the values of that stuff, so that's insider information. It's great. Rural vacant land, we built the companies on this, Joe and I, and Land Academy members. And then there's some gems in that, and the others. Northern Michigan has a lot of property that is unusable that hunters love. Recreation property for water use and hunting are great. I can't remember. Have we done I'm trying to think if we've done a rec deal recently. Does anything come to mind?
Not really. No, not funny. No, we've been all, as a group, mostly focused on property that's going to turn around and be built upon right now, because housing is such a hot thing. So I know there's some going on in Land Academy, but the deals I'm looking at right now, that's always it's a nice option. That's one of my favorite things. When you have multiple uses on a property, like someone can build it's 40 acres. You can build upon it, you can camp on it, you can do this, you can do that. Love that.
It's important to know these categories and subcategories because that's a really good way to sell your property. Too often I see 40 acres. I see the description in a for sale property like this. 40 treed acres in a beautiful little area and it's close to Walmart. Well, what the hell am I going to do with it? Can I build I would like to know what's possible. You should be saying zone ag 3. You can do this, and this on it. People in the immediate area have horse breeding and just like paint
People don't do that,
paint a
right?
picture for me. What is it?
True.
Or if it's commercial property, this is pre-zoned for a 48,000 square foot heavy manufacturing facility. Now I know what it's, just know your property is my point. Hopefully before you buy it, not before you sell it. We get in these subcategories. Here's a truth time. We have gotten into these subcategories on accident and gotten our way out of it because we learned what it's for and sold it that way. Join us tomorrow on Friday, and Jill and I are going to talk about the truth about how we have kept food on the table for 30 years flipping land. This topic came up because Jill and I, there's a little bit of a downturn right now because of what we said earlier. There's an election going on and so we'll talk about how we've gotten through those cycles tomorrow. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. We are Jack and Jill. Information
And inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you find our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.